Hey, what's going on, my amazing taco brothers and sisters? And today we are going to be reading a story titled Dead Bart. So if you guys want to read along, I have the thing on the Creepypasta Wiki. I might link it below. So here we go. Let's read Dead Bart. You know how Fox has a weird way of counting Simpsons episodes? They refuse to count a couple of them, making the amount of episodes inconsistent. The reason for this is a lost episode from season 1. Finding details about this missing episode is difficult. No one who was working on the show at the time likes to talk about it. From what has been pieced together, the lost episode was written entirely by Matt Groening. During the production of the first season, Matt started to act strangely. He was very quiet, he seemed nervous and morbid. Mentioning this to anyone who was presented results in them getting very angry or forbidding you to ever mention it to Matt. I first heard of it at an event where David Silverman was speaking. Someone in the crowd asked about the episode, and Silverman simply left the stage, ending the presentation hours early. The episode production number was 7G06. The title was Dead Bart. This episode, labeled 7G06 Morning Lisa, was made later and given Dead Bart's production code to hide the later's existence. In addition to getting angry, asking anyone who was on the show about this will cause them to do everything they can to stop you from directly communicating with Matt Groening. At a fan event, I managed to follow him after he spoke to the crowd, and eventually had a chance to talk to him alone. As he was leaving the building, he didn't seem upset that I followed him, probably expected a typical encounter with a obsessed fan. When I mentioned that lost episode, though, all color drained from his face and he started trembling. When I asked him if he could tell me any details, he sounded like he was on the verge of tears. He grabbed a piece of paper and wrote something on it and handed it to me. He begged me never to mention the episode again. The piece of paper had a website address on it. I would rather not say what it was for reasons you'll see in a second. I entered the address into my browser, and I came to a site completely black except for a line of yellow text, a download link. I clicked on it, and the file started to downloading. Once the file was downloaded, my computer went crazy. It was the worst virus I have ever seen. System restore didn't work, so the entire computer had to be rebooted. Before doing this link, I copied the file onto a CD. I tried to open it on my now empty computer, as I suspected there was an episode of The Simpsons on it. The episode started off like any other episode, but had very poor quality animation if you've seen the original animations for some enchanted environment and veering. It was similar but less stable. The first act was very normal, but the way the characters acted was a little off. Homer seemed angered, Marge seemed depressed, Lisa seemed anxious, Bart seemed to have genuine anger and hatred for his parents. The episode was about the Simpsons going on a plane trip. Near the end of the first act, the plane was taking off. Bart was floating around. Bart was fooling around as you'd expect. However, as the plane was about 50 feet off the ground, Bart broke a window on the plane and he was sucked out. At the beginning of the series, Matt had an idea that the animation style of the Simpsons world represented life and that death turned things more realistic. This was used in this episode. The picture of Bart's corpse was barely recognizable. They took full advantage of it not having to move and made an almost photorealistic drawing of the dead body. Act 1 ended with a short court. Bart shot Bart's corpse. When Act 2 started, Homer, Marge, and Lisa were sitting at the table, crying. The crying went on and on. It got more pained and sounded more realistic, better acting than you would think possible. The animation stayed to decay even more as they carried, and you could hear murmuring in the background. The characters could barely be made out. They were stretching and blaring. They looked like deformed shadows with random bright colors thrown on them. They were faces looking in the window, flashing in and out. So, you were never sure what they looked like. This crying went on for all of Act 2. Act 3 opened with... Hold on. Act 3 opened with a title card saying 1 year has passed. Homer, Marge, and Lisa were skeletally thin and still sitting at the table. There was no sign of Maggie or the pets. They decided to visit Bart's grave. Springfield was completely deserted, and as they walked to the cemetery, the houses became more and more decrepit. They looked abandoned. When they got to the grave, Bart's body was just laying in front of the tombstone, looking just like it did at the end of Act 1. The family started crying. Eventually they stopped and just started at Bart's body. The camera zoomed in. Homer's face. According to summaries, Homer tells a joke at this part, but isn't audible in this version I saw. You can't tell what Homer is saying. The view zoomed out as the episode came to a close. The tombstone in the background had the names of every Simpson guest star on them, some that no one had heard of in 1989, some that haven't been on the show yet. All of them had death dates on them. 4 guest stars who died since, like Michael Jackson and George Harrison. The dates were when they would die. The credits were completely silent and seemed the final image was the Simpson family on their couch, like in the intro, but all drawn in hyper-realistic, lifeless style of Bart's corpse. Although occurred to me after seeing this episode for the first time, you could try to use the tombstones to predict the death of living Simpson guest stars, but there's something odd about most of ones who haven't died yet. All of their deaths were listed as the same date. That was Dead Bart, and I hope you guys enjoyed. What do I rate this creepypasta? It's an okay creepypasta. Johnny, alright, Johnny, you want to hear your thoughts on it? Do you want to hear your thoughts, like, at the ending of Act... Like, I don't know, like, what was going on through the writer's head when he came up with this. But
he didn't come up with it. The people that, like, leaked the video, and then he said something about it, like, he was telling it, and that was the creepypasta.
Yeah, so...
I'd rate it a 3.
I rated it a 4 because, it had a lot of cliches in it. It wasn't, like, hyper-realistic stuff, and look at this image right here. Yeah, I know, right?
What the heck is that?
I don't know. And I think the wiki crashed. I don't know, but whatever.
Well, that's gonna end off the first episode of Taco Pastas.
Taco Pastas, and if you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like and comment.
And tell us what creepypasta we should read next.
I think we should read a troll pasta next.
What?
You already know it.
I don't even know what a troll pasta is, but let's do it.
Alright, guys. We'll see you guys in the next video. We hope you guys rest in peace.